Welcome to B&B Movie Reviews. We've reached the end of another cinematic year filled with blockbuster thrills and auteur-driven storytelling. And with all the reviews and discussions that me and Brad have had over the past year, good and bad, it's time for us to break down what we deem to be our favorite films of 2025. I'll kick off my list with my number 10, Roofman, directed by Derek Cianfrance, whose previous films delves into the deep and oppressive nature of human interactions, takes on a somewhat lighthearted romp starring Kirsten Dunst and Channing Tatum, who in my opinion gives maybe the best performance of his career as a man on the run from the law that hides out in a Toys R Us. As silly as that premise may sound, Derek Cianfrance finds ways to bring his sensibilities of exploring the darkest and most flawed parts of the human condition into a sweet and tender story led beautifully by our two main actors.
Look, my 10th favorite film of 2025 is a movie I will not recommend to another person, and that includes you watching. The movie is called Bring Her Back, and it's a punishingly brutal horror film that scarred me psychically, and I will never watch again. But, and this is a big but, I will never forget it either, and I've been thinking about it nearly nonstop since I saw it.
Coming off the massive success of the blockbuster sequel Top Gun Maverick, Joseph Kosinski proves yet again why he is one of the premier action directors of blockbuster cinema with my number 9 pick, F1. Harkening back to a bygone era that gave us that old saying, "This is why we go to the movies," with an all-star cast led by Brad Pitt, who's using all of his A-list Hollywood charisma on screen, F1 brings the thrills and excitement back to the cinema that we haven't seen since probably Top Gun Maverick.
Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein is my 9th favorite film of the year. It's a faithful adaptation of Mary Shelley's iconic novel, but it swerves in places that only del Toro could take it. Jacob Elordi is more beautiful than terrifying as the creature, and Oscar Isaac is wonderfully hammy, absurd, and earnest as the creature's maker. Del Toro achieves his goal of replacing eye candy with eye protein in every frame. It's absolutely delicious.
My number 8 is a movie that most, if not anyone, would have in their top 10 of the year, Thunderbolts. Yes, Thunderbolts, you heard that correctly. As the MCU has lost its way a bit with the overall storytelling, Thunderbolts as a singular vision about the outcast of the MCU connected with me in a deep way with its discussion on mental health and depression, and Florence Pugh continues to be the MVP of the MCU. Put her in everything.
For my 8th favorite film of the year, I have another horror film, but one that's far removed from Bring Her Back and is much easier to recommend to everyone, especially those who like a spooky mystery. Zach Cregger's Weapons has the most satisfying structure of any movie in 2025, presenting events from one perspective before hopping over to another and another and another. The mystery of an entire elementary school classroom fleeing their homes in the middle of the night is perfectly compelling, but it's the film's final moments that will leave you on the floor with your jaw agape. Amy Madigan, I hope you get your Oscar for this one.
Who knew ping pong could be so damn entertaining? Well, Josh Safdie did and showed us with my number 7 pick, Marty Supreme. Timothée Chalamet gives the performance of the year in this propulsive thrill ride of a man who will do anything, and I mean anything, in the pursuit of his ultimate dream.
It took a few watches for me to fall in love with Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another. It's a dense, tonally complicated, and frequently messy thriller packed with powerhouse performances. Leonardo DiCaprio has never been as funny as he is here as Bob, the leftover radical desperately trying to save his daughter from Sean Penn's racist, pathetic, brown-nosing ogre. The movie is ugly, heartfelt, funny, and gorgeously shot. 7th place on my list might be too low, but that's where it sits for now.
My number 6 might oddly be one of the most personal films that I experienced this year, which is the main reason it is so high on my list, which is 28 Years Later. One of the main reasons why I fell in love with movies as a kid is how storytelling can speak directly to you and your personal life. The last thing I expected was for a sequel to a zombie movie to do that to me. A coming-of-age story that deals with the stark realization of loss and the grief that comes with it was not on my 28 years later bingo card, but I'm so grateful that Danny Boyle and Alex Garland gave me that experience.
Steven Soderbergh cranked out 2 films in 2025, and my 6th favorite film is the second one that dropped. Black Bag is a sexy spy thriller about a married couple casting suspicious glances at each other. Who betrayed who? This film is all about the dense dialogue, which is sharp, vicious, and tight as well. You know what when you're sitting in that lie detector hot seat, Bryan.
My number 5 movie of 2025 is one of many Stephen King adaptations that was released this year. The Long Walk, a place out of time dystopian world where 50 young men are drafted to walk until there is only one left. With its stellar performances from the 2 main stars, Cooper Hoffman and David Johnson, the film reminds us that we are all on the long walk.
My 5th favorite film of the year was another stressful watch, but one that was equally exhilarating, Marty's Supreme. Yes, the one that Bryan's already talked about. It follows Timothée Chalamet's wannabe champion who will do anything to secure his face on a Wheaties box. Sadly, his sport of choice is ping pong, table tennis, and the dream he's chosen is impossible. Woe unto anyone who gets in his way, and I was never rooting for him, but I loved watching him bash his way to the film's shocking climax.
So, Brad, those
Yes.
were our 10 through 5. So let's get into a deeper conversation here. Starting now with our top 4 picks, our number 4.
We haven't had a lot of cross-pollination yet. We both mentioned Marty Supreme, but that was it.
Yeah,
Interesting.
well, it might start here.
Okay.
Because, now when we get into this deeper discussion of our top 4.
This is where you put Bring Her Back. I got it. Okay, talk about Bring Her Back.
You just mentioned, it's not a movie you would recommend, even though we did see it together. I agree with you. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone else. I don't think I'll ever watch that movie again, but it is a great film.
Yes, your 4th favorite film of the year. Got it.
No, unfortunately, it's not. But it is a scary movie that you did mention in your list already, which is Zach Cregger's Weapons. That is my number 4 movie. And going to what you said about it too, man, it is the structure of this film. I'll say this about Weapons. For me, this was probably the most exciting cinematic experience that I had in a theater this year. The way, like you were saying, telling it from different perspectives, how the movie unravels as we get people's different perspectives of this very horrific event that's happened.
Yeah.
But then seeing how it concludes.
Yeah, well, what's fascinating about Weapons is your experience with it actually begins with the trailer because the premise is so compelling. You know, okay, this entire classroom, they all fled. We don't know where they went. What could possibly be the answer? And when you're watching the movie, I'm thinking to myself, they're not going to stick this landing. There's no way they can give us a satisfying conclusion to this mystery, right? But then, that mystery becomes almost cast to the side. The film isn't really ultimately about solving that mystery.
It's not.
It's about Amy Madigan.
It really is, and it's a joy to watch. And going to that ending, I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen Weapons. It came out over the summer, and it did great at the box office. So I'm assuming a lot of people have seen this movie. But like you were saying, how that ending is very cathartic.
I think there's a lot on its mind, and I think the way that it executes its climax gives you something to think about as you're leaving the theater. Also, the movie is maybe one of the funniest movies of the year, while also being one of the most disturbing.
So that's my number 4. What's your number 4 movie of this past year?
I'm really surprised by my 4th favorite film of the year.
Okay.
It's a film that we reviewed on the show. When I first saw it, I liked it, but I didn't love it. But then, holiday break happens. I'm hanging out with my family. I watch it with my wife. After watching it with my wife, I was like, you know what, this is actually a pretty great film. And then the day later, her sister came into town and she wanted to watch a movie, and we're like, well, let's watch this film. And then after that 3rd watch, I was like, I think this is a masterpiece. It's Rian Johnson's Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out story. I love the climax of this film. Again, I don't want to say too much about it, but how the film's ending subverts the genre and subverts how the previous 2 Knives Out films ended, so that we can give grace to some characters that are horrible, that make some really bad decisions.
Yeah.
Rian Johnson is struggling with his concept and his relationship with faith in this movie. He's working some demons out, and I'm proud of him that he did it.
It's interesting with these Knives Out movies that we had talked about this before, where a lot of times it feels like it's never really about the mystery. It's never really about solving, who did it, even though these are kind of framed as these whodunit murder mysteries.
Yeah.
But like you were saying, it feels like a lot of times these movies have a lot more on its mind, and especially with this third movie, with the things that Rian Johnson is wrestling with in his own life. He's using this movie to kind of speak to a lot of those things. And you're right, this feels like it's probably out of the three, this is the one that feels more personal to him as a director.
And the trinity of performances with Josh O'Connor and Josh Brolin and Benoit Blanc, Daniel Craig.
Yeah, Daniel Craig.
Even though a lot of them I don't actually, do any of them share a single frame? Maybe when one of them is dead. But, they're all in conversation with each other.
Yeah.
And it is engaging the audience to join in.
Yeah. So those are our number 4 picks. All right. So we're getting down to our top 3. What will they be?
Yeah, I wonder.
Yeah. I wonder. Yeah. Nice hoodie. All right. When we come back, we will discuss our top 3 movies with our number 3 picks. Stay right there. I wonder what we're gonna do.
After rent and power, I can get groceries. It's sad to say food comes last. Anna from Texas. No one should have to worry where their next meal will come from. Together, we can end hunger. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back to the show. We are discussing our top 10 movies of 2025. We have talked about our 10 through 4. We are now at our number 3 picks. Okay. Brad.
Yes.
We are at our top 3 picks.
Yes.
What is your number 3 movie of 2025?
Look at my hoodie. It's Superman from director James Gunn.
Yeah.
A comic book movie that I think we've seen shades of before. Certainly we've seen this character on the screen before. Richard Donner did such an exceptional job back in 1978. Zack Snyder did a pretty decent job.
He did his own interpretation.
Of Man of Steel. All kidding aside, I like a lot about Man of Steel.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
But this really felt like the first proper comic book movie. Yeah. I love how James Gunn takes advantage of our relationship with superhero cinema at this point. We've all seen the MCU. We've been living in this universe since 2008. And in these types of stories really since 2008, if not earlier, with the X-Men films. Yeah. And now we can just throw people into a metropolis that has Guy Gardner, that has Hawkgirl, that has Mr. Terrific, and we don't really need to explain any further. You're going to catch up.
I like the fact too, and we have talked about this before with Superman, where the fact that we are already into this universe that's filled with superheroes, what does it mean for Superman? How is it that in a world of superheroes, what makes him special? And I think the movie really talks to those type of themes and those type of conversations about, we have, a Mr. Terrific, we have a Green Lantern, we have a Hawkgirl, but what is it about Superman that makes him the beacon of light? Yeah. And I like that about it.
And I'm really happy that the film gets political, right? It puts Superman in a position that is uncomfortable for him. Yeah. He interferes between countries. He stops a war, but in stopping a war, there's this ripple effect. So let's have a conversation about what it means to stop a war, right? And that conversation between Lois Lane, Rachel Brosnahan, so good as Lois Lane, the best Lois Lane. Yeah. David Cornsweet as Superman, Clark Kent, Kal-El. And the frustration that bubbles up out of him when she just ask some questions.
Just ask a question.
Right?
Yeah. Speaking to some real world truths, which I think is important. Going to my number 3, it's a movie that you had already mentioned. I can't remember if it was 6 or 7, but it was it's PTA's One Battle After Another.
Oh yeah, that film.
Yeah, that film.
Yeah, I said it might be higher on my list. Maybe this is where it belongs. I don't know.
Well, no, I mean, this is a great film, but the one thing I want to talk about is the filmmaking of it, from a technical standpoint, from, just the score, the lighting, the acting, the cinematography, and just the overall direction. I mean, this is a pitch perfect directorial effort from
so well constructed.
Yeah, so well constructed from PTA. Again, it deals with so many different tones. It's just like with Weapons. I mean, you're dealing with some really, really serious and heavy topics, but he's able to infuse the comedy into it where it never feels too jarring to me. And for a movie that's close to 3 hours long, I mean, this movie just whips by like that. And all the performances I think are really, really great, led by Leo, who, this is the type of Leonardo DiCaprio performance I love to see.
Yeah.
Like I said, I love, like you mentioned, I love loser Leo, like disheveled, just, trying to figure out things as things are happening. That vignette in the middle with him and Benicio del Toro, who, in my opinion, is my favorite character in the film, is just absolutely brilliant. And then Chase Infinity, I mean, a newcomer. I think this is her first feature film, and she holds her own in this movie. And Sean Penn, like you mentioned, just a great antagonist, just somebody you just really love to hate.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And yet, at the end of the movie with Sean Penn, the way that this film just gives him the most pathetic ending.
Yes.
I mean, I really, really enjoy that. I really relish that moment and that final shot of him.
Yeah, very deserving.
Very, very good.
Very deserving.
Yeah, great pick, Bryan.
Yeah, so One Battle After Another, that's my number 3. So, yeah.
Yeah, after this, let's go get a few small beers.
A few small beers,
Just a few small
Just
beers.
a few.
Just a few small beers.
All right, guys, those were our number 3 picks. When we return, we'll talk about our number 2. Stay right there.
Going to cheerleading camp next to the abandoned insane asylum, it's like throwing your blood away.
50% of Americans like watching blood get spilled in horror movies, but only 3% donate it.
Now that's scary.
Welcome back. We are continuing our discussion of our top films of 2025. So let's get right into it. All right, Brad, number 2. There we go. We're getting close to it now. I'll go ahead and kick this one off. I don't believe you've seen this film.
Oh.
This is my favorite animated movie, I would say, of the year. This would be K-pop Demon Hunter. I really enjoyed this movie.
I think I'm the only person who hasn't seen this film.
You might be.
I feel like the entire planet is raving about this movie. Why am I so stubborn? Why have I not watched this movie yet?
I don't know. Yeah, you have to answer that for me. I really want to, because I've been singing his praises since it came out.
I was at the grocery store last night, and Lisa wanted to make some ramen, and so I went into the international aisle, and there are K-pop Demon Hunter ramen noodles on the shelf right now.
You know what? Watching the movie, that makes sense.
I didn't buy them.
You should have. No, but K-pop Demon Hunter, I really enjoyed this movie. It caught me by surprise. I caught it a little bit late. I heard I heard a lot of the hype around it. I was like, okay, let me go ahead and check this movie out. Watched this movie, blew me away. First, I got to say, the soundtrack is amazing. I've been listening to it ever since the movie came out.
Yeah, Golden just won a Golden Globe.
Yeah, but you know what? That's not even the best song to me. It's not even
they got it wrong?
They did get it wrong. There's a lot of the music is fantastic. But going to a movie that I had talked about earlier in my list with Thunderbolts, where I said like certain movies and the themes and the things that they're talking about, how important it is when it's speaking directly to me, and how Thunderbolts speaks directly to like mental health and depression, which is something that's important to me. This movie also is kind of working in that same kind of sphere, that same world, where it is kind of talking about what it is to kind of be your true, authentic self. And I think that's something that I can kind of relate to and really kind of connect with a lot of these different characters. And I just absolutely love K-pop Demon Hunter.
Maybe I just can't allow myself to enjoy it.
I'm going to keep pressing.
I'm going to watch it at some point.
Yeah.
Probably before the Academy Awards, because I'm sure Golden's going to be up for a nomination.
Yeah, and Best Animated Movie if it qualifies. I saw it on Netflix, and I went to the sing-along and saw it in theaters as well. I absolutely love this movie.
Crazy.
I know. Crazy that I was like, oh, number 2.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
what's your number 2?
I think our 2 spot is probably where we lose our minds a little bit. Your second favorite film of the year is K-pop Demon Hunter.
Yeah.
And my film is certainly a movie I have not seen on anyone's top 10 list. But the day I saw this film, I went to the press screening of it.
Okay.
And I don't give 5-star movie reviews often on Letterboxd.
No, you don't.
Like it's usually a movie that I've seen a bunch of times, and I consider it like an all-time favorite.
Yeah.
You know, like The Godfather. Okay, 5 stars. You know, 2001: A Space Odyssey. 5 stars.
Predator.
5 stars.
Yeah.
Obviously. And I had that immediate response when I walked out of The Monkey.
The Monkey.
I was like, that's a 5-star film for me. There have been so many Stephen King adaptations this year.
Yes, there has been.
Oz Perkins, he made Longlegs, he made The Black Coat's Daughter. He had another film this year called Keeper. He adapts Stephen King's short story from Skeleton Crew. And it's absurd. It is, yes, an art house version of Final Destination. It's incredibly gory.
Yeah.
So much blood in this film. It's not a movie that I can recommend to everyone. And actually, I've recommended it to a lot of people. They didn't like it. All right?
Okay.
Fair. I'm a weirdo. Whatever. But for me, this is saying something a little bit more about grief.
Okay.
There is actually some real pain being explored in The Monkey. Oz Perkins is talking about his own experience of losing his mother during 9/11. She was in one of the towers. And how one day you could wake up and something just absurd can happen and ruin your life.
Yeah.
And that's what The Monkey is about.
Okay.
While also, putting a lot of paint of blood and gore and comedy and just general weirdness in it. It just spoke so deeply to me.
Yeah.
And I found it to be a joyous experience watching all of that pain explode everywhere.
I like the way you think. Like I said, our number 2 picks, we're both weirdos, man. It's just, that's part of being a film fan. All right, so those are our number 2 picks. All right, where will we land with our number 1? Will we have different picks? Will they be the same? Hint, hint. What hasn't been mentioned yet? Well, stay right there. You'll find out.
Captain America: Brave New World.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
All right, guys, we have reached the number 1 spot. What is our number 1 movie of 2025? What we deem to be the best of the year. Bryan.
Yeah, and you're already speaking as if we've chosen the same film, Bryan.
Have we? Have we not?
Of course we have.
Yeah.
Because every top 10 list this year has ended with this film, because any other list that doesn't have this movie as number 1 is invalid.
Invalid.
We're talking Ryan Coogler's Sinners.
Yes, Sinners is my number 1 movie.
I do love this film so much that when I see people not put it as their number 1, I'm mad at them.
Yeah.
I go like, one battle after another? You film Twitter posers. Clearly this is the best movie of the year.
Oh, goodness. You're right. I mean, film is subjective, so I completely understand. I have talked with people who don't really vibe with Sinners in the way that we vibe with
I
the
won't
movie.
talk to them. I won't talk to them at all.
Don't say that. Don't say that. But no, but yeah, this is the best movie I've seen this year.
Yeah, it's a great time.
Just like how I talked about with Weapons, when I talk about a cinematic experience, watching this movie in the theater, in IMAX, was wholly something different. I mean, just seeing the cinematography of this movie, the way Ryan Coogler tells a story, the way he builds out a world, it's just beautiful to watch and it's beautiful to experience. we talk about performances. We could talk about Michael B. Jordan, Haley Steinfeld, Wunmi Masako, all of the cast of characters, Delroy Lindo. I mean, they all have their moments in this movie. But the way that this movie just speaks to culture, it speaks to generational trauma, but within the context of a genre movie. So, listen to Ryan Coogler speak and how he conceived of this concept when he talks about his uncle and the love that his uncle had for blues music and losing his uncle and wanted this to be kind of like a tribute to him, and how he fell in love with the genre of blues music.
A celebration of music, a celebration of art, the power of art, the vitality of art, right?
Yeah, and the way he's able to put all of that into this film.
I think watching Sinners also begins with watching the trailer. Like I was saying with Weapons, you see the trailer for Sinners and you're like, okay, a vampire movie from Ryan Coogler, all right. And then you actually get to the day and you start watching the movie, and it takes all this time to develop the characters, to expose the world. And you're watching for like 30, 40 minutes, something like that. And then we get to the scene where Preacher Boy sings I Lied to You.
Talk about it.
And I think right before that, we're introduced to Jack O'Connell's vampire character. Right before it, you're like, okay, the vampires are coming. But you get to the I Lied to You sequence, and we see him begin, and then, the speakeasy takes off and, starts to vibe with him. And then we hear that electric guitar as we're also hearing the narration about how, songs, certain people, certain song tellers can stretch time and space. And then we hear that electric guitar, and then that Bootsy Collins character comes in, and then the deck comes out, and then we just see the entire universe in this speakeasy. The speakeasy burns down around him. I was crying during that scene, and that scene could just be removed from Sinners and be its own thing, and I would make it the best movie of the year.
It's a visceral scene that really evokes a lot of emotions from people who watch it. And the thing that I also love about it is that it's not an isolated scene. It's a great moment, but thematically it plays into the entirety of the story. When that camera goes out and then it goes to Jack O'Connell, and then him seeing,
he's like, I need that. I
want that. I need that. So it plays into the overall story. So as beautiful as that scene is, it's not just an isolated scene that just works in a vacuum. It works in the overall storytelling. And this is what I love about the filmmaking of it and the storytelling of it, and what he's speaking to all of these different things that are happening in the film. It's just beautifully told.
It's the best film of the year.
Easily.
And, I'll allow other people to like other things. But if you think Sinners is as good as I think Sinners is, we can party.
There you go, yeah. So those are our top 10 movies of the year.
A great year.
It was a really, really good year.
I think 2025 was a better year than 2024.
Oh, easily.
Easily. I look back at my 2024 list, and there's some things where it's like, I never watched those again. I'm never going to watch those again. These 10 films on my list, I love all of them. And it was hard to keep it to just these 10. There are some honorable mentions out there that should be in it.
Let's throw some of them out there, because this was hard to put together, and there's these 10 movies I love, but there are movies, you mentioned one of them at your number 3, you have the hoodie on, Superman, honorable mention for me. I really enjoyed that movie, didn't make one of my top 10, but really enjoyed Superman. Another movie I wanted to mention was Train Dreams. This is a movie that is on Netflix that it has a very slower pace to it, and I was hesitant to kind of watch it, but this movie cast a spell over me, and it is a beautifully told story, and I think it might have some of the best cinematography I've seen.
A film I wish I could have seen in the theater. Netflix. Come on.
I know.
I know you're gobbling up all of Hollywood, but don't take my theaters from me, right? Honorable mention for me, a film that I know that you didn't really jive with, but I liked a lot, was Wes Anderson's new film, The Phoenician Scheme. Benicio del Toro, I think, gives a tremendous performance in that. Michael Cera, I think, gives his best performance of all time.
I will say that.
You said that Channing Tatum gives his best performance in Roofman.
I do.
We know that's not true because we've all seen Deadpool and Wolverine.
Okay.
His Gambit's his best role. But this is my favorite Michael Cera performance.
And I got to give some love to the two Predator movies.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm glad you mentioned them.
yes, I mean, Killer of Killers that came out on Hulu, I thought was really good in telling these vignettes and really expanding that world. And then Badlands doing something completely different by giving us a movie told from the Predators, the Yautja's point of view.
Dan Trachtenberg.
Yeah, keep making them. Keep making them. I love seeing him in this universe. So, all right, guys, those are our top 10 movies of 2025. Let us know what your top 10 movies of the year are, and let's talk about it. All right. So, thank you for joining us on this latest episode of B&B Movie Reviews. Come be a part of the conversation. If you have questions, suggestions, feel free to email us at bnbmoviereviews@gmail.com. And with that, we will see you at the movies.